We are going to rank the 2023 Formula 1 liveries from worst to best, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions and, where I stand on certain things. One thing I will say this year, I actually think we have some pretty good looking cars, and I don't think, even though the grid is quite dark per se in terms of the carbon fibre, it's actually not as bad as maybe we originally thought. Now, before we get into it, I want to quickly say, if you want to see more of this type of content and me covering the real life sport, let me know in the comments down below. It's something I want to try and do this year. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But let's get into it. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's see what I have to say. So here is my tier list. We have 5 categories, and we're going to rank them essentially in approximately last season's reverse championship order. So we'll start off, with Williams, Haas, whatnot, and finish with the top 3, and then kind of make our way through the midfield. And one thing I want to say is I have a few images saved up which we'll go through the details and kind of break things down. So let's get into it and let's see what my thoughts are. So we'll start off with Williams, which I actually think their livery is an improvement over last year's. There's a lot more blue this year. They've got rid of a lot of the black, which I was not a fan of. Even though it looked okay, it's a shame that, you lose the integrity. So actually, credit to Williams for actually putting more paint on than what was on the car last year. They've still kept some of the details with the red. Also, very nice with the roll hoop with the Duracell sponsorship. Very nice detail. A few more sponsors here and there. But the one big thing for this year that I've noticed is that they have matte paint. Now for me, this just helps bring the entire thing together. The matte finish looks really nice. All the blue, the way they've kind of made these little blue, light blue details really helps accentuate the car shape, and also the little details like the blue wheels as well go a long way. So I think the Williams, for me personally, is going to go into nice. I quite like it. I'm a big fan. We'll readjust the list later on once all the cars have been placed. So Williams for now is in nice. Up next, it's the MoneyGram Haas, and to be fair, I actually love what they've done. From the front and from the top view, it looks like last year's car, it's white, but from the side view, it's black, and it's very similar and reminiscent of the 2018-1920 Renault. You can see from these side angles, I actually quite like the black. It really accentuates the kind of car details, the shape. I love it. I think the black works really well. They've actually been a bit creative with it. And again, like Williams, extra brownie points for putting a bit of paint on the wheels. That goes a long way to adding something else to the livery, in my opinion. So, big fan of it. So we'll grab the Haas. I'm going to put it in nice. The question is, do I like it more than the Williams? I think I do. So I'm going to move it above the Williams for now. Time for a controversial livery, and that is the AlphaTauri. Now, this one's split opinion. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I like the red. Some people don't like it, they think it doesn't fit. As you can see, I've chosen also some of the renders they've made because I feel like it shows off the car in a slightly better light rather than the studio renders. I do think the red could do with some work, but I actually like how it breaks the car up. I'm a fan of the kind of jagged edge concept they've gone for. So for example, you can see here on the wheels. I like it, and I also like how they've gone all out with the AlphaTauri logo on the side, basically taking up the entire car. And they've also kind of gone for like a split concept of a white front and a dark rear. So I like it. Do I think it's incredible? No, I don't. I think it's possibly one of the weaker cars. I don't know, it's hard to tell, I quite like the front angle. Other people hate it. Some people hate the fact that the black and the dark navy don't really work. Different strokes, different folks. I'm gonna say it's alright for now. So it's now time for the big guns. Alfa Romeo, which of course was one of the earlier launches, and my god, this car is something else. This is a work of art. I think this one is going to be in everyone's top 3, more or less, I'd like to think. They've gone essentially dark mode this year. They've gone for the same livery, but flipped it from white to black or very dark grey, and it just works, man. This car looks unreal. Not really a ton to add, it just works. It looks really nice. I love all the detailing, the sponsorship placements on point, and it complements the actual overall car design really well. We'll put it at the top of nice. I'm thinking I'm going to reserve That's Why He's the GOAT for the winner, probably. Now then, we go to Aston Martin next, and this one is a bit of an interesting one. So I actually really like the car. The adjustments they've made, I think the car looks a lot better. It's a similar livery, but the actual adjustments they've made to the car shape, which complement the livery, it all works together as one, and I'm a big fan of it. I like the green. I've got to give them a brownie point or two because they've essentially kept the car mostly green. They haven't, followed the trend for the dark mode aesthetic. They've kept the paint on the car, which, you have to respect in this kind of 2023 season. So I like it. I think it works really well. It's a very simple livery, done really well. Very similar to the Merc, of course, with the swoosh underneath. It just works. You got one kind of base color and then an accent to kind of show it off and make it pop. Details go a long way. The Aston Martin logo last season was yellow. Now it's the original one, which does lose a bit of yellow. There was a bit on the shark fin as well, which is now green. But listen, it's a simple livery and it works. It's below Haas, but I don't know if it's ahead of Williams or below Williams. I'm kind of torn. They're both similar-ish in terms of the design concept. I just don't know where to put it. I think I'm going to edge it below for now, but that might change. So here we are, McLaren time. This is a very interesting one. I'm not going to lie, the more I look at this, the more I don't like it. The more I'm starting to not like it. I miss the darker blue they had, I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it in terms of, I think there's maybe one too many sponsors in terms of overcrowding. I give them credit for making the rear wing orange this year, which last year was black, but I think it's a bit of a downgrade. I'm not too sure on this one. It's hard to make the chrome work with the kind of red, yellow, green and blue with the orange and the light blue and the black. There's a lot going on here. I'm just not sure if it's for me, There's a few things I'd change. I'm not a fan of this kind of triangular pattern on the top and bottom of the nose. I'm going to put it in, it's alright. And it could easily go below AlphaTauri. I'm not sure, I might leave it. I'm going to leave it like this for now. I think they've taken a bit of a step back. Since 2019, that livery was unreal. It just hasn't really hit the same since. So, we have Alpine and we have a two-parter. We have the regular and the pink version. So, we're going to rank both of these. First of all, the standard version, which I like. I'm a big fan of the Alpine livery. I think it works well. I love the metallic blue. There's a few things different this year in terms of details, and again, I said it before, I'll give them brownie points. The wheels being painted goes a long way to help make the car look a lot better, especially on the rear. That looks really nice, so I will give them credit for that. That is very nice. They've also kept a pretty decent amount of paint on the car that isn't that dark, which is again a bit of an extra. And they've added some little details like some pink on the wheel covers, which wasn't there last year. They've also removed the Mafre logo, which I believe was an Alonso sponsor, and it had that horrible red stripe there, which just looked so out of place with the pink and the blue. So this year it just works a lot better, and I think it complements the car shape. I might be in the minority here, but I always have liked the Alpine, and I like it a bit more this year than last year's car, so I'm going to rank this fairly highly. For me, the Alpine's going to go in between the Williams and the Haas. I really like the Haas, to be honest with you, but it's there. It's in that mix for me. I like it. I'm actually going to move the Aston Martin to the top of It's Alright, just because of maybe the livery's a bit too basic. I might contradict myself later with Mercedes, but for now, I think I'm happy with this for the most part. As for the pink version, where do we rank this? It's a funny one, right? Because I actually love this, and it's a nice pop of colour which the grid really needs. But when I see this car, I just keep thinking Racing Point. I don't think Alpine, and that's a problem. I'm going to go meh. I'm going to go with integrity here. That car does not scream Alpine to me. It screams Racing Point or Force India. I can't, even though I actually really like it, I'd probably rank it above the usual livery. It doesn't scream Alpine to me, so I can't rank it on that merit, do you know what I mean? So it's time for the main event, Mercedes, and they've gone back into full stealth dark mode this year. Now, to be fair, they have done a very, very nice job with the car this year. It looks championship winning. As for the car itself, this is mad, by the way they've done this kind of engine structure on the engine cover. It's essentially the tunneled kind of boat side pods Ferrari and Alpine had last year, but they've done it, instead of at the bottom, they've done it at the top, which is mental. So they've kept the size zero kind of zero pod-esque design. Having said that, very dark livery. They've got rid of the silver. They could have gone for the silver because they have painted the top half of the car black on purpose. The bottom half of the car is essentially carbon fiber. I said it in a tweet, this car essentially screams championship to me. It just looks the business. However, where does the livery rank? This is really tough. I'm going to go, that's why he's the GOAT. And I'm going to move the Alfa Romeo up there as well. And the Haas. I'm essentially trying to decide a winner here. We're now going to move into Ferrari. Now then, the prancing horses. I'm not going to lie. I'm not feeling this one as much as last year. That might be a bit of a disappointment, but I'm just not feeling just the randomness of it. As in, I don't like this kind of random shape with the red on the rear wing. I also don't like the random black cutout here. It kind of works on the number, even then I'm not too sure about that myself. But I don't like it on the side here out of nowhere. And also I hate how clunky this looks. This could look a lot cleaner, a lot better. I don't mind on the front wing so much because it's just a clean cut off, but even then I preferred it much more last year in black. So I think work to be done. The shade of red's nicer, and then I'll give them, again, credit where it's due. The rear wing Ferrari is just beautiful. This car looks beautiful from the front. I mean, this angle right here, this is the money shot. They've gone for the white number this year, which I prefer. I think it pops a lot more rather than the black. You couldn't even see it last year. It doesn't even look too bad from the rear view, but the side angle for me just doesn't cook, man. A few things I would change. Even still though, it's a Ferrari and it looks beautiful. This is me being very picky because I'm a Ferrari fan. For me, Ferrari, without a shadow of a doubt, is at the very top of nice. I don't think it's in contention for the win, but it's right up there. It's a lovely car. And we then arrive at Red Bull. Now this one is a black or white situation. So essentially, Red Bull had the same livery since 2016, pretty much. Now with this situation, you either love this or you hate it. In many ways, a bit like Mercedes or Aston Martin, and in the past, you know, Marlboro liveries with McLaren and Ferrari. Certain liveries will be the same for a long time and then remain timeless and become iconic. Red Bull is very much on their way in that trend. However, do I like it? Bearing in mind this isn't the actual car, this is the RB18, the one they launched, don't be fooled, is their last year car. There's been some pictures from the Silverstone shakedown, and I'm not going to lie, their new car looks mad considering the restrictions they have. They've done something very different to the car this year. That being said, I'm basing it off, you know, this is a livery video. I always have loved the livery of the Red Bull, and I actually think it suits these new generation cars even better than the previous generation. Don't get me wrong, I miss the big fat Honda logos on the rear wing. I thought they were lovely with the 2021 car. So I think I'm going to put the Red Bull in nice. The question is, whereabouts in nice do I put it? Let's make some adjustments. I think I'm really close. I've made some changes. So the pink Alpine's at the bottom. Again, because like I said, it doesn't scream Alpine to me, and it's also a temporary livery. I've gone for AlphaTauri as the worst. I don't dislike it, I still like it, but it's the weakest of the bunch. McLaren, again, like I said, I don't like it, it doesn't do much for me, but I do prefer it to the AlphaTauri. I get annoyed because the McLaren has so much more potential in terms of the colour scheme than AlphaTauri, so they can do so much more with it, and they just don't do enough. I've gone for Alpine into, I mean, it's alright, and I've also moved Williams down on the basis that the Williams, even though they've put more paint on the car, it does lack like a title sponsor or something on the side pod or on the side of the car to really make it complete. It just lacks a bit of sponsorship. A bit of the opposite McLaren. McLaren's got too much, Williams doesn't have enough. Red Bull, I like their design. I would probably go higher, but again, it hasn't changed. And we haven't seen the actual car, which, even though this is liveries, when you see it on the actual final product, it does help give a brownie point or two. Ferrari I like as well, but I do just prefer the Alpine in terms of I think it's a bit more cleaner. The Ferrari, just them random bits of black and the red out of place doesn't really do it for me. Mercedes, on the basis that I said I want a bit of colour, Mercedes have basically removed all form of colour. It does look beautiful, but I want to give credit where credit's due with some of the colour on the car. And then you might notice a common theme here, but Haas, Alfa Romeo just work for me. The black, white, red, those combinations work. I love their wheels. The question is, which one do I think is the winner? Oh, okay, I'm going with that. I think the Haas is the winner this year. I'm going to go for it, and I'll tell you why. Every single car this year has essentially chosen to go dark mode. The Haas is the only car that's got a bit of white left on it, besides the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri is in a very bland way, and it's essentially an example of, if you look at the AlphaTauri and where the Haas is, how a livery can be done better or worse with a similar-ish paint scheme. So the Haas, especially the Haas, does a much better job with the red, and the white also really pops in the right areas, and I love the split car concept of the white from the front and the black from the side. It just does it. I'm gonna put the link down below, guys. I believe you can check this template out for yourself, so go ahead, do it and send it to me on my Discord. Link down below, guys. I've got a Discord server. Might be a bit controversial in terms of putting the Haas as the winner, but I feel like doing something different. So there we go. Leave a like, guys, if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. Like I said, if you want to see more of this content, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to deliver it for you guys. You know, just regular real life content regarding the F1 season. And yeah, as always, guys, check out the tier list down below. A big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. As always, you guys are legends. Also, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.